Hi everyone, I just want to start by saying welcome to the channel, Cue Ball Garage, obviously new channel. Introduce myself, my name's Ricky Britton, everyone knows me as Brito. Now a lot of people have told me I've only got a head for radio, and I do agree with them 100%, but here I am, I'm going to have a go anyway. So I was just hoping we could make a deal. So if you guys like and subscribe, I'll make sure there's no close-ups of my rude melon, and we'll get along just fine. I've thought about doing a YouTube channel for a while now, so I thought I'm just going to have a go. So yeah, here it is. I'll show you a couple of cars I've got here at the moment, and another one which is down at my mate's farm in his shed. So yeah, less talking, more action. All right, thanks very much. Righto, so this beast, I've got a 68 Impala two-door, big block. Looks like the hounds have come for a bit of a visit as well. What you doing, mate? All right, so 68 Impala, two-door. I've had this car for probably 10 years. It's a bit hard to see. Anyway, we'll see if we can get the bonnet open. It's got a big block, turbo 400. And I've done pretty much everything myself except built the transmission. So there she is. So when I bought it, it was a bit of a basket case. It was already right-hand drive, but pretty rough. So I've done a bit more stuff there. Done the sheet metal firewall, built the engine. It's just a 460 cube, 466. So it's standard stroke, 454, 60 thou over. It's got forged internals, actually running Aeroflow heads, and I've had no issues with them whatsoever. Victor Junior manifold, Holly Sniper X-Flow. So it's supposed to handle up to 800 horsepower, naturally aspirated. I think they only flow about 900 CFM, or 950 it might be. So, end of the day, it might be a little bit small for the combo. It seems to be going right. I've got a Willwood master cylinder, a proportioning valve down there. And I actually put the MSD DIS, or coil to plug ignition system on it. So I might do a couple of videos on how to install the DIS, or the coil to plug system, and the easiest way to set it up, and even the sniper, going from carby to sniper. I'm still not convinced yet, but it's on there at the moment. Radiator is just a cheap aluminium 4-core. I'm going to have to get a copper and brass radiator. Everyone knows that a copper and brass will dissipate nearly twice as much heat. I've got Durali fans, 2000 CFM each, and they handle it pretty well. I'll get it up on the hoist shortly, but we'll just have a bit more of a walk around. So Willwood's front and rear, and I've got the Willwood park brake calipers as well. So the interior was done by X-Trim. So Luke Eberhardt and his family out at Smeaton Grange. And once we get it down off the hoist, I'll show you that as well. So 17-inch rims on the front, just looks a bit bigger to fill up the guard. Yeah, 15s just looked a bit too small. It's such a big whale of a car. And then I've got 15 by 10s, 275s on the back. I'll just pop the boot and we'll have a quick look. So hopefully you can see the right. I've just got the battery box in the back there and an isolator. And I've got just a little surge tank up there in the corner. So there was when I bought this car, it was no boot floor, actually no floor from the midpoint back. So I've had to go at making my own tubs. They're a bit rough, but they do the job. And even the structure here for the support for the boot hinges and all that, I've done that as well. And then I've got a mander down, and we end up making a little firewall because I had a fuel cell in the back here before, and we just I've got it help me bead roll, a little Chevy symbol in the back. Just done a little rear firewall there. I might open this back door so we can actually get a good look. Yes, that's a bit better. You can see the surge tank up under there. Looks like someone's been doing a couple of skids. Bit of guard slapping. So the dash is a fiberglass dash, and all the Australian Impalas had a dash like this. It was all fiberglass, but it had a metal glove box lid. So I've done a bit of a modification to that as well. And just Aeroflow pistol grip shifter, bang shifter. We'll have a look at that. Might pour up, have a look. I'll just close the bonnet and the boot first. Now, if you haven't got yourself a hoist, it's a game changer. I just don't know how I struggled crawling around on the floor for 40 odd years. Probably 30 years really. So I've got the hoist in the end bay, and I can only go so high. I've only got limited access in the end bay here to drive through. So it works for me. I bang my head about 50 times a day, but that's all right. You just got to know when to stop. There you go, that'll do me. Righto, so hopefully you can see there. I'll grab a light and we'll make it a bit easier. I've got a serpentine pulley system there. I had to make a few spaces up and to fit that. I've actually notched the sump and tigged that back together. So I lost a little bit of capacity, but because I've got the remote filter and the oil coolers up under the back as well, you gain a bit of capacity back there. Just a little catch can for the transmission, deep pan, shift kitted. It's just a street strip tranny from Outlaw Speed Shop. So I've got engine oil cooler there with a fan, and they're wired into a temp sensor, plus I've got a switch on the dash as well, and that's the tranny oil cooler there. It's look a bit dirty. I've made my own exhaust system, as you can probably tell. It looks like I've just done a, I've got an X pipe to put in. It sounds like a bit of a thong slapper sometimes, so it needs to be sorted out. I'm not happy with it. But that's it, 3.5 inch tail shaft. Now I've kept the 12 bolt Chevy diff. I put a True Track centre in it, new bearing seals and everything, rebuild it, and the exhaust comes up and over. So when the car's full down some of that, so I think she still has a little bit of a tap. It's hitting somewhere. So I've just got the Aeroflow fuel pump under there. So that draws out of the HQ tank. And that goes up into the surge tank. And then the Bosch 044 pump, that delivers it to the sniper. And I've never had any dramas with the way that's set up. And it returns back to the swirl pot, or to the surge tank. So there's the rear calipers, wheelwoods, and then I've got the park brake caliper up under there. I had to make brackets up for that, but I've got some 5mm steel that I can make some better ones. I'm just going to call them a prototype. So the way the exhaust exits out there leaves dirty marks on the back, it looks crap. So I'll fix that up as well. But anyway, like they say, no project car's ever complete because you're always mucking around and doing something with it. We'll bring it back down. Next. Maggie, look out. We'll bring it down, I'll roll it back and open up so you can have a look at the interior. So there's no need to guess who's going to be doing the interior on the 1 tonner. They do such a good job, I'll get those guys to do it again at X-Trim. So they always have a car or two in the top 60 haul at Summonats each year, so can't complain about that. There's the 1 tonner, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Just roll forward a bit so I can get the door open. She needs a good clean, but he's done everything from the parcel shelf, those little sail pieces at the back there. He's more or less done everything. Even installed the carpet for me. So the roof liner, he's out of a perforated material, and we've done that on the inserts of the seats as well. So it looks unreal. So we'll just have a look at the dash, fiberglass dash as I said, and I've just made that piece there for put the gauges in the middle. So I've made some little bezel rings to adapt the tacho and the speedo. It's a dual speedo, so it's digital, plus it's got the little sensor up the top there, the GPS. Let's put the tacho there with the shift light mounted on the column. And like I said, the other gauges like oil, voltage, temp, all that type of thing in the middle there. Plus I've got my mechanical gauges, because you can never trust electronic. That's a shifter there. Just got a little button on the side for the 2-step. Actually, it's more of a launch control. The DIS is not really a 2-step, but works similar. So as you can see, one thing missing is the glove box lid. Took me years to find one, and I finally found one. So it's got epoxy on it. I've taken it back to bare metal and epoxied it. So in an upcoming episode, I'll paint that and fit that, and then I'll feel a lot better. The dash is nearly complete. So I've just got the box hidden in behind there, and obviously the sniper screen. Just want to keep it looking a bit old school. Yeah, but anyway. Oh, he did the dash pad from scratch as well. Yeah, very happy with it. All right, let's have a look at the 1 tonner. So just when you think one big block is enough, I'm afraid you're incorrect. So I bought this car off a mate of mine. It was just a roller. So the tray was already built, and I've got the timber, got the hardwood timber for the tray, and then another mate of mine donated, another mate, he cut it up to fit. The only trouble with this car is this passenger door is actually off a WB, and then the driver's door is a HJ. So the WB door's got the intrusion bar, and if I want a HQ, that's what I want. I want to have the swage lines or the body lines and the crease in the door. It's got to look like a HQ. So it will be, I've got some doors there. I've already filmed some footage of the doors being sandblasted, and I put them in a couple of coats of epoxy. So there is some rust repairs that will need to be done, and I'll show you that in the other vid as well, but a little bit of rust, a couple of dents. Not too bad, but yeah, we'll get it looking like a proper HQ. I've got some runners and some rails for the seats, so I'll use these ones, and we'll get them mounted up at some stage and get them retrimmed when we do the rest. GDS guards there, welding flutes, they're already done as well, and I believe might be an aftermarket front end, I'm not sure. It does actually line up all right once it's bolted up. So I just want to try and get it looking good. We'll just pop the bonnet and have a look. Trusty cricket bat. There we go, another big block. It's stroker combination. It's just dummied up in there at the moment and just toying around with it. I need to get this engine out, and I've got the rotating assembly. I've just got to get it balanced. So I'd like to put the crank in, put a couple of bearings in, a couple of caps, put one rod and piston in, and just check the piston to deck height clearance so I can work out my final compression ratio and how I'm going to go with that. That's how she's sitting. So a Victor Senior or a Super Victor manifold and Dominator carb. It's a 1050. We'll see how that goes. Once again, aluminium radiator, but I'm not convinced. I think I'll change over to copper and brass. I was going to modify the engine mount, so I could probably go back a little bit more, but until I've got the tranny on, it's hard to see where it's going to hit the tunnel. But I thought any room I can get in the front ready for big fans, that'll help me out. VT master cylinder. So I've mucked around with some banjo bolts and fittings just so I can use braided line, get it away so I've got a lot of room. So these master cylinders are unbelievable. They're really, I think I put this one on the Impala just to try and fit, but I've got clearance issues with the rocker covers. But with the banjo bolts it'll probably clear, but I put it on and dead set, I reckon 10 pumps, and I didn't really have to bleed the brakes, cracked the nipple and a little bit of air came out. So pretty impressed. So the bonnet is from the Fiberglass Factory, Victoria. 4-inch reverse cow scoop. And you wouldn't believe it, I already had an air cleaner mounted on there, sat the bonnet on and it hit. And then I measured it bloody 3 times, but anyway. And this is why you have to have a shelf for all your parts that you bought that don't fit. Now a lot of these parts are actually, they'll be used for something, but a lot for this engine. But there's a fuel cell there, air cleaners, leads, all kinds of crap, but all useful crap for other times. So a bit of a look around the shed. So I've got all my pictures and memorabilia, and Amanda bought me that front end. I just got a little transformer, lighting it up. Bit of a fireplace my mate got me. He's a handyman, got it from the eastern suburbs for me. A little shelf full of stuff. There's a nice melted piston, number 5, bit lean, made a little hole in it. Anyway, these things happen. Look at that. Filming YouTube, watching YouTube. That's the way to do it. So that's the crank. That's an Eagle crank. That'll be going in this big block for the 1-tonner. Scat rods, which I'm a little bit embarrassed. They've got surface rust on them. I'll clean them up. And I've got some old bearings there. They're still usable just to do this mock-up, and so we can work out the compression ratio, what it's going to be. I've got some parts in the parts washer cleaning up, and this is the sump. I'll probably use this one, I'm not sure, but Also, that's a big block sump, so it should clear pretty well. There's a lot of room under there for HQ. If I can go bigger, I think I will. All right, well, that's a little bit of a tour and just a bit of a look at what we're doing. So I guess the next part is I'll get to work pulling this engine out, and we'll see if we can work out what the piston, the deck height clearance is going to be, and I can work out the final numbers. Now, I hope you don't mind, but I just got myself a refreshing beverage. I think I deserve one. A little bit nervous about doing my first episode, but anyway, it's done now. I guess if anyone's thinking about doing it, you just need to get in and have a go and see how it goes from there. Anyway, if you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything and it'll help me out, so I'll just try and boost those numbers up, as you know. Anyway, if you made it this far, a bit of a joke. So this story's about a well-to-do doctor in the eastern suburbs. He's quite successful, very rich, and he's always wanted to go to Africa and shoot a bull elephant. So he saved up his money. He's even bought himself a safari suit, a couple of high-powered rifles that's going to take an elephant down, and he's got enough money that he's actually hired a guide for when he gets over to Africa. So he goes over to Africa, gets off the plane, the guide meets him, and he expresses his feelings that he wants to get straight into it. I don't want to muck around, I want to get straight out there. So the guide, they take his gear, they head straight out into the scrub. Anyway, they're patrolling along in the bush, and then they come across a log which has fallen across. And anyway, it's a perfect vantage point. So he lays down there with a rifle and he's watching, and he can see a nice clearing, and then out of the scrub, a herd of elephants come through. So he waits. Obviously the matriarch, the female elephant, leads the group, and he waits until the big bull is in his sights. So he brings the rifle up, aims at the bull, and as he cocks the action with the rifle, elephants are quite smart, and he's heard the metallic sound, he knows what it is. So he rushes down the doctor, rushes him, he fires a shot, misses, shits himself, falls over. So the elephant grabs the doctor, puts him over the log, and to assert his dominance, he rips his pants off and rapes him over the log. So anyway, the doctor's had to call his safari short. He's injured, he just can't go on anymore, he's traumatised. So he comes back to Sydney where his mate and colleague is looking after his practice. And he says, mate, I need to come in, cancel your 2 o'clock. I've been assaulted by an elephant. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, I've been raped by an elephant. He goes, right, come in, mate, and let's have a look. So he comes in, he goes, right, drop your dacks. So he drops his dacks in front of his mate, and he has a look at him and he goes, holy shit, your arsehole is about 6 inches round. He goes, what goes on? He goes, you said you were raped by an elephant. I've seen David Attenborough, I've seen every show. Elephants have got long, skinny cocks. He goes, yeah, well, this sick bastard fingered me first. Righto. Hope you like it. See you next time.